Welcome to Diversity Conversations, where we engage in thought-provoking dialogue to identify leadership solutions to today's most challenging conflicts. Streamed live each week, Saturday 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Hosted by Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion strategists and CEOs Eric Ellis and Tommy Lewis. Join us and add your voice to this engaging diversity conversation.
It's not.
Good morning, Greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, the United States, and the world. My name is Eric Ellis. I'm the president and CEO of Integrity Development Corporation, and I'm joined this morning by my good friend and brother,
Tommy Lewis, president and CEO of Make It Plain Consulting. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Tommy. It was a little bit of a rocky road getting in here to you this morning, but we did land the plane, and here we are.
We landed the plane. Just a little travel. This is something to get used to, as well as technology. Technology is what it is, Eric, but we're here talking with one another. And as long as technology holds up, right, we'll continue.
That's right. That's right. And it's a brave new world. And technology, you know what? Technology is like the new worker today. We know that it's an employee sort of economy now, and the power has shifted from corporations to employees. So employees say, like, look, if you just treat me any kind of way, I'll leave. I'll get up out of here. Technology is the same way. Like, yeah, y'all went through that pandemic. Now y'all need us. So we can act any kind of way. Say something. I'll shut the cameras down. So technology is coming at us in the same way, man, as the millennials and Gen Zers.
Sure is. And I'm excited about today. We have a couple. I know we have one special guest.
That's right.
And looking forward to having a conversation here. But it's great to be with us this morning. And Ty, I see Ty's dialing in from Atlanta, GA. Hope all is well down in ATL.
Absolutely. We're so glad to have him as a loyal friend and follower. Tommy, talk about your week, man. How was the week for you this week?
So I think this week was a lot of travel. Of travel. I was in Colorado the first half of the week. I was in Minnesota the latter half of the week. And then I'm scheduled to do some work here in Cincinnati, Ohio, Southwest Ohio, the beginning of next week. And then I'll be in Virginia for the remainder of the week. But this past week, a lot of learning opportunities, and had a very, very good session in Minnesota, Eric, working with a client there, a very large brand client. I will not mention their name, but everyone knows them. And we're so happy to work with them. And they are beginning their journey on diversity, equity, and inclusion across North America. And so not only in the US, not only in Mexico or Canada, but the entire North American continent, trying to really do three things. One, to broaden their brand reputation and market share, to reach customers who they have otherwise not reached, right? And secondly, to ensure that the people in the organization represents their desired outcome for diversity, equity, and inclusion. So it's not just a boilerplate message. It's not just a statement on a website, but it's actually embedded and baked into their DNA by way of the people who represent what they're doing. And then third and finally, this organization has a lot of fun, right? Part of it is their brand, and part of it is their personality and the way they approach problems.
Right.
They approach problems from a positive attitude mindset and not the deficit mindset.
Yeah.
Everything, opportunity, everything. And I hadn't heard that in a long time. I hadn't experienced that in a long time. Sometimes we poke at what is hurting us, our pain points.
Right.
And we kind of get bogged down sometimes, Eric, in those pain points.
Right.
This organization, they were like, we see that challenge. What's the opportunity? Okay, see that problem, what's the opportunity? We
Right.
see that issue, what's the opportunity?
Right.
And that was the thread for the day.
And Tommy, that's the way that both you and I look at this work in this world as well. I am so delighted, Tommy, that God is continuing to expand your borders. And my prayer is that God will give you an abundance, an overwhelming abundance of business, because you are a phenomenal consultant. You care deeply about your clients. You think about them and work on their behalf around the clock, man. And I'm just so grateful to hear of the good work that you're doing and the way your business is growing. I would say to our listeners out there and our viewers out there that if you aren't in this space that Tommy Lewis and I work in, we welcome you to the space, because I've said on a couple of occasions that the arc of organizational sort of improvement is aiming in our direction. In other words, organizations are not going to be able to be successful unless they are developing cultures that are diverse, equitable, inclusive, where the people feel a sense of belonging, where they have access. And so we're seeing that, especially post-pandemic. And I don't even know if we could say that it's probably pandemic for life now. But honestly, people are coming out of these tremendous events with a new mindset that says that I really got to make sure that I'm working at the right place and that it's meaningful work and that it's adding value to my life. And so I believe that, that horse is already out of the barn. And as we look at this Supreme Court, which turned over Roe v. Wade, this same Supreme Court is going to, my prediction is that they are going to overturn affirmative action. And Tommy, I think that we've had a number of years with affirmative action. And I think that for many organizations, most I would even suggest, they now understand the business case for doing this work. It is embedded in their psyche, at least, and certainly in the marketplace. People are making demands that organizations create cultures that are, number one, people-centered, but also where I have a sense of belonging, where I have a sense that there are people there that look like me, that think like me, that my talent, skill, ability, potential will be meaningfully included in that work, and that when I contribute to the organization, that I will be recognized, rewarded, promoted equitably. So I don't think there's no turning back on that. And so we'll see what this does. And as we talk to our guest this morning, who's going to be talking about the United Negro College Fund, we'll talk a little bit about what might that mean for minority students soon to become majorities.
Yeah.
As I look at my week, Tommy, had another exciting week, man. I love what we do. We are growing our work with new clients as well. We had a new client, Public Citizen. We're now going to move to phase 2 with them, and we're certainly excited to be working with such a prestigious organization that's so interested in public citizens and the equity and fairness that occurs for them. And I enjoyed golf this week. Tommy, I'm trying to make sure, man, every week I get a day or two, man, an afternoon or two where I get a chance to get out and do some me time, survival time. I would say that for you and I, we wouldn't want to say it just this way, workaholics. We don't want to claim that, but we love what we do. And if we're not careful, we can be wrapped up in it 24/7. And I think to survive and to be able to do the work, the best work for our clients, we've got to sometimes unplug from that work and sort of plug in different ways. And when I say golf, a lot of people think that you're maybe hanging around a country club and you're golfing with clients, and this is, sort of a rich person's thing. For me, it's not that at all. For 20 years, I played most of my golf by myself. I would get up in the morning, Tommy, at 6 a.m., go to the golf course, man. The dew is on the ground. The birds are singing, man. The sun is coming up, and it's just me and God and an ability to really just get some free time to think. Now, Wendell and I spend a lot of time golfing together. As people may remember, I lost my older brother, Duke, a couple of years ago. And so Wendell and I, our relationship has even gotten so much stronger. We both miss Duke, but we realize how fragile things are in this earth. And so we just get a chance to get out there together and golf and learn and laugh and sometimes have some success and a lot of times have some failures, but it's all good anyway.
It's all good. It's all good. It's excited. We'll get out very soon, right? Very soon, and always enjoy each other's company. But excited about this morning's guest as well.
Right. So why don't we bring him up? We've got a guest that's joining us this morning, and that is Stephen Miller. How are you, sir?
I'm blessed, Eric and Tommy. Thanks for having me. It's just amazing to be with two dynamic brothers that are doing this kind of work. And I'm just blessed to be a part of it. And before we get started, I just want to say that the work that Tommy's doing is awesome. The work that you're doing is awesome. And I really want to know when I can get my free golf lesson, Eric.
Hey, anytime, man. We love doing that. I am both a student, a teacher, and a student. So I'm a lifelong learner, but I know as much about the golf swing as I do about anything. And we see so many relationships between golf and life. And so anybody that's interested, I know Wendell's even teaching our sister the game of golf and the golf swing. And it's just something, as we get older, sometimes, when we were in school, we were competing all the time. And so you had something to go after in life. And if you're not careful, as you get older, there's just not a lot of things that sort of charge up those juices of learning and being active. And golf is one of those things, man, that we can play into our older years. And so I'd love to, talk to you about the golf swing, take you to a driving range. So, anytime. I don't know. You're in Cincinnati this weekend, aren't you?
I am.
How long are you here?
I'll be there until probably Sunday afternoon. And
Okay.
if the weather holds up, I'm willing for that free lesson.
Yeah, absolutely. So just give me a call as soon as you get in, man, and we'll make that happen because we got a driving range real close to us. And so I'd love to take you out there.
Well, also, just as a side note, I was the past development director for the First Tee. So
Okay.
I am very, very engaged on how the game of golf helps develop young people. It is an honor system as well. So it was a great opportunity to participate with that organization to, again, bring more diversity to that organization here in Central Ohio. Right. But I'm really excited about the work that we're doing here at United Negro College Fund. We've been doing this work for over 78 years. We've raised over $5 billion. We are the diversity workforce partner that many of the companies that you work for and with really need, because we provide college-educated minority students to increase their workforce diversity. We're not asking for a handout. We're not a charity. We are a diversity partner that provides students that attend any school, not just historically Black colleges. Of course, we support our 37 member institutions, and we have over 103 historically Black colleges, but we scholarship minority students to go to over 1,200 different schools. So we are that partner, and we provide a number of programs, services. Our mayor's luncheon is coming up in Cincinnati next Friday. That's why I'm going to be in town for the next week at the Westin Hotel. Mayor Pureval is really jumped in with both feet to support the work that we're doing. This is our 5th year in Cincinnati, and you guys talked about technology. The previous 2 years, we did it virtually. And we were very successful. We had to pivot like many other organizations, but we're excited to be back in person. And we're just trying to tell our story, educate people in the work that we're doing, provide opportunities for our students, and really educate folks on who we are. Many folks remember us from Lou Rawls.
Right. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
But some of the younger people that we talk to in families, they don't know us. So we can't assume that everybody knows what UNCF does. And so we're always educating, we're always communicating. So have an opportunity on this platform with you two dynamic brothers is a blessing. So we thank you.
Right. So talk about sort of how people come to United Negro College Fund, the average grant that you all provide for people, the average gift that you get. Just talk to us a little bit about the mechanics of that.
Well, UNCF again has been doing this for 78 years. We provide scholarships for students to go to any school of their choice. The money goes directly to the student. The average scholarship ranges probably around $10,000.
Wow.
So we provide scholarships for students to go to and through college. So that means you're a senior in high school, you want to be a freshman to sophomore, sophomore to junior. Then most importantly, for those that are interested or apply, we have internships. So that's the other work that I do with our corporate partners to create these internships. Any scholarship is over $10,000 can be a named scholarship to create internships with organizations. So you can do that in your junior year, then go back your senior year and graduate, and then potentially become an applicant or a worker for these organizations. We have we probably over got 50 different named scholarships, and I can just give you a couple. Of course, Procter & Gamble, Cardinal Health, Papa John's, Battelle. These are just to name a few of scholarships that I've been involved in to create to support local minority students. I also cover all of Ohio and Kentucky. So we do this work in Cincinnati, Dayton, Columbus, Cleveland, Lexington, and Louisville. So we have scholarships, we have volunteers, corporate leaders that lean in to support this work. And it's just real exciting. And there's so much more work to do as far as educating people on the scholarships that are available. Our biggest challenge is to let students know we have money.
Ooh.
In my area, we provided over $1.5 million in scholarships every year.
Right.
Every year. So people just have to apply. There's money out there. Now, we can't scholarship everybody, but we have scholarships that are based on merit and need. And merit, of course, is your academic excellence and your financial need. 60% of the students that we scholarship come from households' annual income is less than $30,000. So we're here to design to assist those families that need that support. But that doesn't mean that families that have a good job can't get scholarships from UNCF.
Right.
You can on the merit side, but don't make any assumptions. You have to apply.
Right.
Yeah, Steve, I think this is a very timely conversation for two reasons. One, for those families who may have the high school junior, high school senior looking to move to the next level of higher education and are seeking that additional support, right? And sometimes high school guidance counselors are less familiar with organizations like yours and UNCF and the opportunities. And so now we're saying and hearing from you that, yeah, there are additional supports in the tune of a few thousands of dollars. And then secondly, from our workforce perspective, our corporations, there's the adage of, where's all the talent? We can't find the talent. One of the challenges that we have found that you're answering is that although the talent has, in some cases, transitioned or become smaller, we've been talking about a talent pipeline forever. And you are talking about, hey, we've had a very successful pipeline that corporations and large, small, medium companies should pay attention to. So I am an alum of an HBCU, right? Big Blue.
And Tennessee State. All right. So, and again, Tommy, the exciting thing is that there are thousands of talented professionals like yourself that have gone through the historically Black college experience. And generationally, we need to do a better job of sharing that experience and that history with our young people. I did a presentation for an Urban League group in the summertime, some young people, and I was just surprised that they just didn't know us. They don't know anything about us. And to your point, many school districts don't have the same high school guidance that we had. But the most important thing is that that legacy and history comes from your family, comes from your church, comes from teachers that or people that graduated. So we have to pass that down generationally and let them know that, hey, this is a legacy. We didn't just start doing this. UNC has been doing this since 1944. I'm a Wilberforce graduate. It's the oldest private historically Black college in the country. We were doing this 100 years before they even came up with the term historically Black college.
Yes, sir.
So it's not like we just got here. We've been here, and we just have to share that information. Now, HBCUs are not for everybody, but it's for anybody that wants a unique experience that is culturally competent. And I know both of you guys can appreciate that term.
Yes, sir.
Culturally competent. The cost is less, is half the cost of PWIs. And from an investment standpoint, for our corporate partners that are asking to support the work, students are 50% more likely to graduate. So nobody wants to give money for a student that's not going to finish, So it's very important that we continue to educate companies, we continue to educate families. And I think the exciting part is that we're now seeing more interest in the historically Black colleges, just based on, some of the work that Deion Sanders is doing down at Jackson State. People are seeing what we've been doing for many, many years. So it's important for us to continue to partner with corporations to create pipelines for on-campus internships, corporate partnerships, because we are the most talented, untapped pool that corporations can use to create more diversity in their business. And it's really a business case. It's not a philanthropic or a charity case. This means business. You want talent, we have talent, and diversity equals dollars. And those organizations that lean in, that are interested in diversity, have really been the most proactive, but we need to continue to educate more and more companies. And you guys work with companies all over the country that say, hey, we can't find talent. How do we help our diversity? And it seems like it's so obvious to us, but we still have to teach and educate and communicate these corporate partners on why this work is so important and why it benefits them and how it benefits their bottom line, how it benefits our community. And especially in the country that we live in right now with some of the political situations, social justice, violence in our own community, all of the nonsense that we see in these political ads.
Right.
And Eric had mentioned earlier about the Supreme Court. I mean, we're in a very, very unique time in our country.
Yes, sir.
But we all know that education is the key. Right. And we also have to prepare our students in our community for education in middle school. I can't give you a college scholarship if you're not ready. So we need to lean in to help middle school and high school students understand the value. We have programs to help them be prepared, what they're supposed to be doing in high school, what they're supposed to be looking at. So it's very, very important.
Well, let me ask you this, Steve. You ventured into some areas. I know UNCF cannot do everything. People hear you and then we want you to do everything. But one of the things that's just on my heart, man, is the violence that's happening in our communities. The Migos, the rapper that got killed. I mean, all of us have just mourned that because here you are a rich rapper now, and you still can't let your street cred and hood connections go. And so you find yourself in a place where people might be envious, and now all of a sudden you're dead. And so as you think about your students being pipelines within corporate America, you also have a pipeline, and that is young people. And so are you all doing anything in the space of education around younger people to increase their awareness that you exist? But also we've got to re-educate our community around the value of life itself. And I don't know what you all are doing. I imagine in some of your orientation programs you have something like that, but maybe you could talk about that.
Yeah, well, first of all, Eric, I know that you have been doing that kind of work with young people for many, many years, and you and I have talked about that. And UNCF, as a national organization, we're a college scholarship entity. As I mentioned, we can't prepare or provide scholarship for students if you're dead, right, or if you're not focused. Right. And the violence that has gone on in our community, it's all of our collective responsibility, right, as leaders, as African-American men. UNCF does provide programming for us to go into high schools to educate them on, pathways to college. These are things you need to be working on. But we also partner with other organizations like I Know I Can in Columbus,
Okay.
like the Urban League, churches. If there's two people that want to talk about college and young people, I'm there.
Right.
And you know that I have been involved in youth mentoring on my own for many years.
Right.
I started a mentoring program at the all boys Catholic high school that I graduated from called My Brother's Keeper. I started a mentoring program at my church, New Birth Christian Ministries, called Josiah, where we work with young people on basic stuff like when you go out to eat, how to act, how to set your silverware. We've taken them to meet corporate people, political people, to the zoo, fishing. We partner with the Urban League. I also, work with my fraternity, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. We have the Omega Gents, and we work with those young people, providing communication and conversation about violence and letting them talk to us about what's going on in their lives and the value of education, the value of life. And us brothers of a certain age, we see it differently than the young people do. We need to continue to create mentors to have peer communication so that young people are sharing with them the value and opportunity that's available. And it is so disheartening to see us doing this to each other when there's so much opportunity. And we know there's so much talent in that community of brothers out there hustling or doing whatever they're doing. But we try to educate them on don't knock the hustle, just do it the right way. And we have entrepreneurial programs that UNCF provides. So if you want to hustle, do it the right way. We have college programs, corporations, or teach you how to do your own thing. Technology has really created a whole different platform of capability. So we want to make sure that we are educating on people on the opportunities, but the best way to do that is look at this brother, look at this sister, look at this school. These are positive opportunities that you can participate in to increase your opportunity. And what we have shown is that lifetime earnings for students that attend college is like 10 times what it would be if you only have a high school diploma. So my thing is, if you want to get the bag, come this way.
Right. Well, Tommy, I'm going to say this, Tommy. I'm going to make a small declaration, Steve, that I'd like to see us look at convening some leadership organizations to come together, maybe in the form of a think tank, to really look again at violence in our communities and pathways to success and to life. Because I think that we've got to provide a more robust, fuller response. We need more collaboration. I think there are a lot of rifts that exist between our communities. Too often the streets look at university people of color and they can't relate to them, and they don't even aspire to be that. And so we've got to find some intellectual ways to sustain and rescue our own pipelines, because it's just out of desperation, lack of fathers, a whole lot of complex reasons why, and mental health issues. But I don't think that we can keep sitting back and everybody trying to do their little piece. This thing is an existential threat. And so I'd like to offer that as a suggestion that we have a follow-up conversation to look at that. This has been something big with me. I think you got to have some gangsters as a part of that conversation as well. But nobody's going to solve this if we don't.
Well, Eric, again, you've been doing this work at that level for many years. And Tommy, I know you're approaching this work at a different level, as I am. This has to be a collaboration of community leaders. But I also believe, I have always believed that we have to provide peer mentoring, because some of these young boys look at us OGs is like, yo, you don't know what's going on in these streets out here. You know what I mean? So, and I get it, but we need to get some kids at their age, at their level, that have made it, that are doing it, to talk directly to them and say, yo, this is really what's going on. This is really how you get it done. And we have to respect each other. We have to respect life. We have to respect other partners. And I really believe that we can do this. We need to do this. And as a community, and you already know, anytime, any place, anywhere, whatever you want, I'm there.
Right.
And UNCF has been here for 78 years. And we're one part of the picture.
Right.
One part of the picture. But we can provide that backdrop of, and Tommy knows this, there's nothing like going to an HBCU football game.
No, sir.
You know, we all know that we don't go to watch the football game. We go to watch the band, So that experience, that right. In the cafeteria, the dorm life, the Greek life,
Yes, sir.
You know what it is.
Right.
So that whole experience can really change kids' lives,
right.
because wow, I didn't know that we had that rich culture. I didn't know there was people that was doing it like that.
Right.
I could come to a place where I see people that look like me, my age group, my elders, my teachers. That whole environment can really give kids a whole different perspective of a future to kind of destroy that desperation and like, how can I get out of this? And that's what causes all this violence and this avarice, need for greed and materialism. We have to also instill a sense of spiritual power that we as Black people have and have always had, indomitable. And don't get me started now. We was here first, so we have the capability.
Right. Well, Tommy, I want you to talk about your college experience in just a second. But before we go to Tommy, just talking about that, because I think people need to have that dimensionalized for them. Steve, just tell people again the event, how they can get there if they want to attend the event next Friday, and then if people want to contribute, how they do that.
Well, thank you again, Eric. We're holding the 5th annual UNCF Cincinnati Mayor's Luncheon. Mayor Aftab Pureval is our host. It's going to be at the Westin Hotel. It's at 11:30, right downtown Cincinnati. We have sponsorship packages available for corporate partners. We have individual tickets available. You can go to www.uncf.org/Cincinnati Mayor's Luncheon. You can also make a donation at uncf.org/Cincinnati Give. So we have a UNCF Cincinnati Facebook page. You can go to our UNCF Cincinnati Facebook page and look at the last 2 mayor's luncheons that we did virtually with Mayor Cranley. There's always ways to give. I just ask you, go to the UNCF website. There is so much information about what we're doing. Go to Facebook, go to YouTube. There's videos about students, about what we're doing, about the power of our schools. So it's just a great opportunity to lean in to help support local minority students in Cincinnati to go to any school that they want, whether it's Central State, Wilberforce. I'm a Wilberforce graduate. Kentucky State, the interim president of Kentucky State is going to be our keynote speaker. So we're here to help. We're here to educate. Come out and support us. If you can't make the event, you can make donations at uncf.org/Cincinnati Give or uncf.org/Cincinnati Luncheon. So it's a great opportunity. We do this every year. We're going to keep doing it. We do this in all of our cities: Columbus, Dayton, Cincinnati, Louisville, Lexington, and we're going to continue to grow, continue to tell our story. And the powerful thing that I know Tom is going to get into is this experience that you have at an HBCU campus. The campus life is like none other. I'm blessed because I'm a 3rd generation historically Black college. Both my grandfathers attended HBCU.
Wow.
Both my parents attended the HBCU. So I'm 3rd generation. And with the Pan-Hale opportunity, with all Greek life, with the fraternities and sororities, and just those caring teachers that are going to say, hey, Eric, I see you in class yesterday. What's going on?
Right.
Some other schools, you might be in class with 500 other people, and you're not going to get that. So sometimes we need that. And I know the school that I graduated from, Wilberforce, we'll take just about anybody. If you really want to go to college, we'll make it happen for you. Right. That school was founded to make sure that everybody had an opportunity to go to college. So you can't use the excuse that I don't have no money. All you got to do is apply and try, and we will make it happen for you.
So there's a common thread that those who have not experienced the HBCU experience, they don't really know. So Brother Steve Miller is talking about his particular third generation experience at Wilberforce, the Woo, right? Regardless of the HBCU, when we mention the school, if it's HBCU, there's a connection, right? So your PWIs, that doesn't always happen. When someone mentions a PWI on the East Coast and another person says, I attended at PWI on the West Coast, they don't necessarily come together like, oh, we went to PWI.
Right.
But with the HBCU experience, that happens, right? And so we poke and prod each other like, oh, you went to Wilberforce or you went to Tennessee State or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's all love. It is all love. One reason, amongst many, I think it's all love, is because of the historical background around historically Black colleges, right? And what I mean by that is, and Steve mentioned it earlier, right? Wilberforce, 100 years in existence before this thought of a historically Black college and university. So what does that mean? That means that Wilberforce was not thinking of themselves as an historically Black college when it was in existence.
Right.
It was a tool, a platform to elevate an entire, literally, race of people, a culture through academics, right? To move on. So we don't go around saying, I'm the first or, I am, this or that before I'm named, right? We just do. Right? And listening to Brother Steve Miller, it's obvious that he knows what he's talking about, right? And I'm saying this to our community. It is, I don't know about you all, it's obvious when I'm listening to him, like, this brother absolutely knows what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to invite our community at this point as we continue our conversation.
That's right.
If you have a question for Brother Steve to answer with regards to his work, his experience, share that in the chat room.
Right.
So let us kick us off if you don't mind.
Excellent.
I do want to know from your perspective, Steve, if there are a few common concerns that families might have with UNCF or any process to engage with this. If there were, a couple of concerns, what are those common concerns and what is your response to kind of ease that concern?
Tommy, thanks for that segue. I think that, again, it's all about education. The sad part is I have too many conversations with parents in September and August about I need money from my student. Yeah. We have to, I can't pull money out of a hat at the last minute. We have to prepare and educate our parents that if you have a high school senior, they need to be applying for student loans in October, November, no later than January to go to school in the following year of September, or at least by January to attend summer school. So we have to educate them to start earlier in the planning process. We also have to educate families that UNCF is just one of many vehicles for financial aid. You basically have to, as a high school junior or senior or a parent, you have to assume, okay, look, this is going to be my part-time job for the next 6 months to get this money to apply any and everywhere. There are thousands of scholarships available, but you just can't sit back and think that scholarships will come knocking on your door and saying, hey, you want some money to go to school. It doesn't work like that. You have to go get it. You have to educate yourself. There's many, many opportunities. We do a lot of work, and nobody in the United States outside the federal government provides more scholarship than UNCF, but you still have to apply. And the other thing, Tommy, the question is that, hey, I didn't know that UNCF scholarship kids to go to non-historically Black colleges. That's the big thing.
Right.
Yes, we do. We scholarship kids to go to any school that they want. I don't have anything to do with the selection. Wherever you want to go, that's your business. Students have to go to uncf.org/scholarships and create a student profile. Tell us what do you want to study? What are you interested in? So that drives where the money comes from and what's available. But also there are other opportunities for scholarship. I know many families where students don't have to pay anything. I know many families that won't even think about college. They think they can't afford it. So those are the key things. I didn't know that you guys did that. And I started too late. So start earlier. And yes, we do have money.
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you, Steve, there's a couple of things that I want to ask you about the issues that you all are seeing for Black students at college, because I was looking at some research that just talked about things like food insecurity, shelter insecurity, that maybe 1 in 5 has been homeless over the last. I mean, young people are scrapping and scratching, man, just trying to get through this experience, even because life is a struggle. What are you all seeing? What are you hearing?
Well, Eric, thank you. I think that people need to be aware that we are aware of the challenges. We know that our kids and our community has been disproportionately impacted by COVID, social justice, the economy, and violence. And our schools have, because the UNCF supports our 37 member institutions that are private. They don't receive state and federal funds. So we provide financial support for them biannually. But there's 103 historically Black colleges, but those 37 are all private. Primarily, we're all started by churches. So, and those schools don't have the infrastructure, the endowments, all of the technology that they need. And also what we learned, as we learned a lot during COVID, UNCF has a new program called ESA, it's Emergency Student Assistance, which includes homelessness, food insecurity, emergency student support. So those funds are available. I work with corporations all the time to say, hey, look, if you want to help, yes, we have general scholarships, we have internships, but we also have emergency student assistance, we have technology. Corporations really drive the need for what they want. You tell us what kind of student you're looking for, we can make that happen for you, because basically you're providing the scholarships. Our named scholarships are driven by any scholarships over $10,000. It can be the Eric and Tommy Saver Brothers Scholarship. If you put $10,000 in, then you create the criteria. It's got to be this grade point average. These are the zip codes. These are the schools. These are the states. This is what I'm looking for. That's how we do it. And we've done that with individuals and with corporations to really drive what Honda, they want engineers, the banking organizations, they want people to work in all levels. There's an organization that is headquartered in Cincinnati. It's the second largest employer in the United States. I can't say the name, but you can figure it out. Right. They have their own organization that goes on campus to talk to students about coming to work at their organization. Now, unfortunately, not just this organization, they go to Morehouse, Spelman, Hampton, Tennessee State, but that's nice. So that's 5 or 6 schools, but we got 100 schools, and we got 1,200 colleges that we scholarships. So you have to, and the work that you guys do, you have to broaden your spectrum on where to get this talent, because there's talent everywhere.
Yes, sir.
The work that we do is helping to drive support for institutions to be strong and stay. We also provide what we call institutional support to help the organization operate better, because we know that some people say, well, look, we're talking about certain schools. We gave y'all some money and y'all messed it up, but you're still crying about you ain't got this and that, right? But if you are already 30 years behind, it's hard to play catch up. So, the institutional support that we provide through the Frederick D. Patterson Research Institute, the work that we do on Capitol Hill, these are all things that support the work that we do to help our colleges be better, help our programming be better, to help our students create opportunities. So, this is exciting work. And we ask parents, go to your high school. And I know that I mentor at high schools. I present at high schools. And there's a lot of parents that they haven't been in a high school, so high school ain't like it was, So there are some challenges there for our community. But also go visit our campus, look at our students, see the glory of our future.
Yeah.
And again, there's no other experience like hearing the sonic boom or watching the dancing dolls, or it's just you can't buy that, you can't beat that. So I'm glad that enriched experience is spreading and more people across the country are seeing it. But most importantly, the work that you guys do, you're sharing that diversity, that opportunity that's available for organizations to grow. And organizations that want to grow, you have to grow through diversity. Banking organizations, food organizations, you want healthcare. That's another area. You want people to care for you that look like you. We need more minority doctors. We need more minority engineers. Our STEM programming, as a group, we only make up 3% of all the STEM education in this country. Mm-hmm. But when we're impacted by a technological world, what we're doing now, we need more kids to be engaged in that. And we have to start early to make sure they understand that our schools can provide the education, our community can provide education, and UNCF is the primary catalyst to support that in every aspect.
Yeah, Steve, you had mentioned something that I did not know at all, and you talked about kind of some efficiencies, institutional efficiencies. And so, per my experience with the HBCU, I thought that there were some efficiencies or some processes that were broken, some that absolutely needed improvement, and some that worked fine, right? And so what I hear with Coach Deion Sanders, Prime, down in Jackson State, he refers to some of the processes as needing improvement based on what he has experienced at the highest level of professionalism.
That's right.
Be it the National Football League, be it corporations. So those who are exposed to efficiency and productivity have a benchmark of expectation, right? And at times when our students go into the HBCU after experiencing some form of efficiency, they may say, man, it took us too long to register for a class.
Right.
Right? You remember those days?
Yeah.
So we students were like, where are the adults that could fix this thing, right? Because I'm paying for it. Through scholarships, through grants, through my own resources, I'm paying for it, and I'm paying for a broken system. What I just heard you say is that UNCF also consults institutions of how to create productivity, create efficiency, and effectiveness. This is what we do. That is diversity, equity, and inclusion, and belonging. Right. So I see a direct alignment and coalition with what you all do, what we, myself and Eric and others do, to really move our people, our nation, our world to the next level of success. So Thank you for what you do.
Well, and I know that it seems like the experience at HBCUs is great and powerful, but at Tommy and Eric, it still boils down to money. You have to have the money to hire enough people to get the job done, to keep talented professors, to create tenure, to create chairs, to provide the infrastructure, the physical plant, dormitories, libraries, administration. That all takes money. So, we all stood in line too long registering and want to know what's going on. And we provide scholarships. We know that we've provided a scholarship for a student that parents down there trying to register, and it takes time to get it processed. But we have an arm through the Frederick D. Patterson Research Institute. He was one of our founders with Mary McLeod Bethune, that decided that not just to raise the money for schools, but we have to provide the support, training, education to help them operate more efficiently. And again, we're not going to own this just because we're quote unquote poor Black schools, because you guys work with multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar organizations that have the same issues. you know, so
Absolutely right.
it's not like it's just us, but we also know, keeping it real, we are dealing with your cousins. So sometimes, we might have to do some of this, some of that, and we have to do better. And we have to do better by our students, do better by our institutions, but it's all driven by dollars. We have to raise money. Again, there's 37 member institutions that we work with don't receive state federal funds. We're in Ohio, and I know Eric knows this. You can go to Central State, that's right across the street from Wilberforce. It's night and day.
Yes, sir.
And it's a money thing, but there's institutional, organizational management, fiscal management that we always need to do better. So we're providing the presidents of our 37 member institutions that information to try to help them operate and work better. And we're also partnering with corporate partners with their best practices, because the outcomes that they want are important. And, there's always strings with the money, so that helps us grow, that helps them grow. So it's an ongoing process. Our president, Dr. Michael Lomax, has done a great job in helping us raise record numbers of money over the last couple of years. George Floyd really helped UNCF raise more money than they've ever raised in one calendar year. But that bubble is about to go away.
Absolutely.
Because, it was a double-edged sword. Eric, I know you and Tommy know this. It really awoke some people about some of the social issues, the disparities that are historically Black colleges or our entire community. But there is a growing group of people that have political say, with the Supreme Court, with just, politics in general, that don't really hold the same views and values that we do. So we have to continue to fight, and we have to fight through education. And there's no other partner that's been doing this longer than UNCF to help make that happen on Capitol Hill with our corporate partners in our community.
Right. Steve, let me jump in here and say that. So I would say for you all, the curve is coming your way as well. I remember back when Workforce 2000 came out, and we told people that by the year 2025, there would be more jobs than there were people to do them. And everybody sort of laughed like, yeah, sure. We're here now. And so what that means then is that people are desperately looking for talent, and there's a war going on for talent. I would say to you that many people have looked at a homeless mom and wondered how children could ever love or be fulfilled or happy in the arms of a homeless mom with siblings. I would suggest to you that ultimately what a child needs is love, and that if you put me in an institution without love, or you give me a homeless mom with love, then I'm going to be happy with that homeless mom. So a lot of the HBCU magic is around loving and caring for the students. So even if I don't have everything, I feel like I belong here and like I'm loved, and that has value. But the other thing I wanted to ask you about is, I remember the time when we said that Black people couldn't play sports, and they couldn't even play the smart jobs for sure. No Black guy could be a quarterback. They're just bodies and muscles. They're not brains. And now we're seeing an overload of Black quarterbacks in the NFL. What are some of the stories that you can share with us of some of your famous graduates? Because I think that people need to get a window in on the impact of young people that have come through the UNCF, and the funding that you all have done.
It's amazing that again, this is an education process. There's so much talent has come out of historically Black colleges. I can just to name a few: Samuel L. Jackson, Spike Lee, Chad Boseman, rest his soul. The president of City Council in Columbus, Shannon Harden, Morehouse grad, the superintendent of schools here in Columbus, Dr. Dixon, HBCU graduate. It's goes on and on. Quentin McCorvey, one of our leadership council presidents in Cleveland, financial leader, Jackson State grad. I can go on and on and on about the Tennessee State, Kentucky State. I mean, national people that you're aware of, but there are people in every company. And what we try to do in our mayor's luncheons is highlight HBCU talent in every city or in corporations, because we want corporations to know that you got talent right here. And we all smile earlier in our conversation about the people you work with and say, oh, we can't find any talent,
Right.
Which is ridiculous. They're not looking for it, but we have to educate them on why they can't see what is right in front of them. We're a talent pool that's there, but we have to be cultivated and developed and given the right opportunity to grow. We also are working on creating mentorship programs for corporations that have higher level corporate minority members, male and female, to support the younger students, because like you said, Eric, that there is a war on talent. A lot of the corporations that I talk to when I talk about our scholarships and internships, they're fighting for talent: healthcare, banking, retail, and again, a couple of the largest organizations that are right in Cincinnati, second largest employer in the United States. They go out to a college campus and say, hey, come to work here. And a student will say, I don't want to work in a retail environment like that. Mm-hmm. But that retail organization, they need everything. They need accounting, finance, transportation, human resources. They need it all. But UNCF has the capability, because of our relationships on campus, that we can do a better job of educating those kids on, hey, look, this is a real opportunity. And we use social media. We use our relationships through their guidance office, but through our own programming, our student professional development program, our leadership conference that we do, where we gather talented students from all over the country. And basically, it's kind of like an all-star draft for companies. We do it out in California on a technology tip. We also do it in Atlanta with our leadership conference. And these are opportunities where corporations can lean in and say, look, this is what we're looking for. These are our best practices. And we can say, look, these are students that you need to be looking at. Because as we know, with inflation rising, the Fed, doing its thing, they say that there's more jobs out there than there's talent. But I don't understand why it's not matching up. But right. What we have to do, we have to educate our kids on where the future jobs are.
That's right.
Here in Ohio, Intel, that's going to be one of the largest investments in the United States. Yep. Honda has made a huge investment in Ohio. General Motors has made a huge investment in Ohio. And these are not the traditional jobs that our parents had. Right. These are jobs that are technology-based, and we have to educate and refocus our kids to be prepared to take advantage of these future roles, because that's where the bag is.
Yep. Right. Tommy, I don't know if I want to say just one other quick thing, and then Tommy, if you have a last word as we're coming to an end. I know you all are doing something in the space of entrepreneurship as well, but Tommy and I would love to be a part of a team of Black entrepreneurs that young people get exposed to, because this generation is looking at gig work, and many of them are questioning whether they want to be a part of the establishment, if you will. And so they need to be also exposed to people of color who are doing their own thing, because we've so often helped corporate America understand the power of our dollar, the power of our talent. And sometimes they've gone on to create and innovate things that then put our businesses out of business. Yeah. We need to look at how do we get them exposed to who we are, so some of that talent can work with us, but also some of them can dream about doing their own thing as well.
So, UNCF does understand that entrepreneurship is a future opportunity for our community. We do have a Center for Entrepreneurship where we help students understand the value and opportunity of doing your own thing, whether it's just in business or technology. So that door is open for you and Tommy, because, of course, you both worked in corporate America. Now you're doing your own thing. And we have to educate our young people that you can make more money working for yourself than working for somebody else. Right. But there's a pathway, there's a process.
Right. And there's a great learning that you get from corporate America.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. They has to be taught that. They have to learn that. They have to be mentored. And one of the largest organizations in the world is headquartered in Cincinnati, and the alumni that's come out of that organization is powerful because of what they learned and how they've turned that into opportunities. And no one knows that better than my brother Eric, whose family has just been amazing for generations in supporting education, diversity, human resources, and knowledge. So we have to share that with these young people. And UNCF does have programs that do that. We have scholarships that are focused on that. And again, it's an education piece. We're not your dad's or grandfather's UNCF,
Right.
But what I do want to say, a mind is a terrible thing to waste, a wonderful thing to invest in.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Tommy?
sir. Yes, sir. It's been a pleasure once again to talk to Brother Steve Miller. Thank you for your time today, dropping these pearls of wisdom, literally. And we look forward to our community spreading the word about UNCF and Brother Steve Miller, right? I see you, Steve. I see you.
You know what it is.
That's right. Steve, last word. Again, the event next Friday, just hit it again and how they can get the details.
Yeah, next Friday, it's our 5th annual Mayor's Luncheon for Cincinnati at the downtown Weston. It's 11:30 luncheon. Mayor's our host. We've got the interim president for Kentucky State as one of our keynote speakers. We have Alicia Reese that's going to introduce the mayor. My frat brother, Scotty Johnson, city council member, is going to be on the program. We have one of our leadership council members, I know a good friend of yours, Clifford A. Bailey. He's going to be, doing some words for us. We also have Pastor Booth's going to offer the invocation. So, and we have the Taft High School drumline that's going to provide some entertainment, but also our presenting sponsor, Tri Health. They have a work to school program that we are highlighting. We're also going to have the president of Tri Health that's going to offer greetings, but we're going to highlight these students because Tri Health has really put a program into place with Cincinnati Public Schools, and we have the superintendent, Ironetta Wright, who is going to also talk about what Cincinnati Public Schools is doing. And we do have a scholarship with Cincinnati Public Schools as well. So we've got a great program. We're going to show people why UNCF is worthy of their support, because we're showing them young people that are the next generation of leaders. We're also showing them corporations that have leaned in, that understand the value of that. So join us, uncf.org/Cincinnati Mayor's Luncheon, uncf.org/Cincinnati Give. November 11th is Veterans Day. So I know people, you should be off work that day. So come on out and enjoy, share it with us. And it's always an opportunity to uplift our young people.
Steve, I thank you for that. I want to encourage Tommy and I want to encourage you to go out to vote this next week. The vote is going to be critical. Steve, if you all aren't preparing for the what ifs around that, I think you might want to have some discussion about that, because it could either be a national depression or excitement or ambivalence. But the elections are going to impact everything that we've discussed here. And so no matter which way you vote, Tommy and I want to encourage everybody to vote. And we want to thank you for joining us again this week for another diversity conversation. Take care of each other, love somebody, and we'll see you next week.
God bless you, and thank you very much.
Take care now.
Take care.